Hello, my name is Chris, and welcome again to our 5th instructional video tutorial on CSC 151, an introduction to Java programming. For our 5th video, we'll be going over more control statements such as do-while loops, for loops, and logical operators. First, we'll go over do-while statements, or loops. Similar to while loops, the do-while loops test for conditions after the loop's body has executed, meaning that it always executes at least once. The variable we have here is the control variable or loop counter for which the loop will test. Here at the start of the loop we type do, and then the program will execute this statement and increment the control variable, our counter, and then it tests the condition. While counter is less than or equal to 20, and as you can see it prints out the counter from 0, which it was initialized at, till 20. Next, we'll go over for loops. For loops are counter-controlled repetition statements that are all stored in one line. The for statement header consists of an initialization, a loop condition, and an increment or decrement condition. And then, of course, it goes next to the statement, which will execute until the condition is met. This one here sets the counter to 20, sets the condition as greater than or equals to 0, and then decrements the count. And when we run it, it prints out 20 through 0 and then ends. Here's another example. In this one, we get the total after the for loop increments the counter by 3 each time and adds the counter to the total. Now for switch statements. Switch statements are multiple selection statements that execute code based on different values. Here you can see we have a variable day and have it initialized to a random number between 0 and 6 and a string for the days of the week. A quick note on this: for the random number we import the random package and create a random object. As for the string, it's another type of data that stores text or sequence of characters that are considered objects. Back to the switch statement now. As you can see, it checks to see what value the day is and then tests it against the cases going in order. If day is equal to 0, then day of week is set to Sunday. And we break out of the switch statement and go to the first line after it. Otherwise, if day is equal to another value, it will go until it reaches the right case and then break out of the loop and proceed with the program. We could also add a default case if we had no matches. As we see, if you run it, it prints out the value we had in day and then the day of the week it corresponds to. Go ahead and try it for yourself. Lastly, I want to mention logical operators. Conditional AND will produce true if and only if both conditions are true, otherwise the outcome will be false. Conditional OR will produce true as long as one of the conditions is true. These two conditionals are short circuit evaluations, thus only evaluating if it's known whether the condition is true or false. Say if the first condition turns out to be false in an AND operator, the second condition will not test. Logical AND and OR are similar except they evaluate both conditions regardless. Finally, logical NOT or logical negation will reverse the condition and is placed before a condition. Today we learned that do-while statements test for conditions after the loop's body has executed, meaning that it always executes the loop at least once. For loops are counter-controlled repetition statements. They have everything already in the header. It initializes and it checks the condition and increments or decrements that variable. Switch statements are multiple selection statements similar to a nested if-else statement that executes code based on different values. And logical operators can form complex conditions to be used in various control statements. Next time, we're going to be going over methods and creating constructors and scope. So until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.